Yesterday, we heard that the wife of a pastoral colleague in town was going into the hospital for surgery. Nancy remembered that same pastor prayed with her and for us when I was in the hospital 13 years ago. It's time for me to pay back the gift. In 2007, when I was committed to the mental hospital in Columbia, my family, freedom, finances, reputation, power, and pastoral ministry were abruptly taken away for an unknown time. I was grateful to receive a cot, shelter, food, medications, caring staff, a community of strangers, and all the pens and writing paper I requested. That first day, I really did write like I was running out of time, pages and pages of manic meditations. I was fearful the medicine would interfere with my visions. Upon my sister's first visit, I passed under the table all the pages I'd scribbled for 6 hours. I commanded her, "Sneak these out of here. Go directly to Kinko's and make 100 copies. Tell the world the truth." Her response was a question. "Would you be willing to trust me to decide what's the best thing to do with these right now?" I said yes, and she did. Thankfully, she's an excellent PhD psychologist as well as a wonderful sister. When I returned to the floor, a woman who had been trying to treat her illness with meth and other drugs sat down with me. I guess she'd heard I was a pastor because she used me as her confessional. Although we did not share pigmentation, background, experiences, or social standing, we were connected by the fierce grace of God. After almost an hour, she stopped to take a deep breath and said, "I don't believe God can love me after all I've done. Do you?" I was overwhelmed by her pain of trying to earn the love of a parent and a God when you are made to feel so unlovable from the beginning of life to now. I said to her, "I believe God loves you." She looked down. I said, "No, I really believe God loves you no matter what." She turned her chair and looked away. I moved to face her. There is nothing that can separate you from God's love. She started to cry. I took her face in my hands, wiped her tears with my thumbs, and said deep into her eyes, "You are a beloved child of God. There is nothing you can do to make God love you more, and there's nothing you can do to make God love you less. You are loved and accepted. You are loved and accepted." Right then, the head nurse announced dinner was ready. As we moved from my preaching to our communion, I had an image from near the end of the movie Good Will Hunting with Robin Williams speaking to Matt Damon. I began to realize that while I might never serve a church as a pastor again, I still could be used by God to do significant ministry right here, right now. A decade later, in my old church I had been serving in a new way, Nancy sang a song in worship which she had composed. The song title and refrain are both, "God isn't finished with me yet." How have you experienced God's fierce grace in your life? Today, with so much removed from you for an uncertain time, what are you grateful for that you do have? In our separate and shared trauma of facing several crises at once, how is God using you to minister to others? What things would you list that help you know God isn't finished with you yet?